Hey, welcome back to the final episode of Season 6, where we are taking this table that we made in the last couple of episodes and we're just going to finish it off. So, just taking it apart, the idea with this table is to be able to flat pack it and send it away to someone. So, I've made it with these dowels and the bolts that hold it together so that it can be disassembled and flat packed. So, while I'm painting these parts, it's important to keep the dowels and the holes that they lock into free of paint. So I've just plugged them with a little bit of cardboard or masking tape, and then I'm just applying some acrylic gloss. I think I ended up doing 3 coats of acrylic gloss with a roller, and yeah, I was pretty happy with the way it came out, especially because the paint was from 2016, but it was still good, which is great because the price of paint has just about doubled since then. And for the same reason, instead of varnishing the top, I decided to try epoxy this time, which was a little bit cheaper. So mixing it up, just have to follow the instructions. And then I filled in all those little sunken treasures first and then spread out the epoxy over the surface with a scraper. And then it dripped down the side, so I just finished that off with another roller. And then I used this heat gun to pop out any little bubbles that formed while that was happening. And this is after the first coat, and there were sort of some uneven spots where the epoxy had soaked into the wood along the grain in different ways. And so I sanded that down and applied a second coat of epoxy over the top of that one. And that went on pretty smoothly, and I was happy with the finish that gave. So after dealing with the bubbles again, I let that cure, and then this is the bottom side, and here are some of those drips that I was talking about. So before it's ready to go, I had to sand off those drips so they're a bit smoother. And then I applied a little bit of furniture polish to just give it a nice even finish on the underside as well. Right, so now I'm just removing those cardboard plugs from all the connecting parts. Yeah, and then reassembling it using the little code of holes that I made to match up, so I knew that all the parts would go back in the same way as they did originally. So just tapping in the bolts and tightening up the nuts. And this means that this table can be assembled and disassembled and moved around a little bit more easily because it's not one solid piece. The braces and the legs and the top can all come apart, and so that should make it a little bit easier to move. I just used these little metal angles and some button head screws to attach the top, and the legs and the braces are pretty lightweight and all the weight is in the top, so if you want to carry it around or by the top, that's fine because there's plenty of attachment points to the top between that and the legs and braces, and it pulled the legs and braces down really tightly and nicely onto the top, so I was really happy with the way that this worked out as well. And it's basically finished. Just mark those positions of where each corner went in, and here's the final reveal. So the epoxy turned out really nice, very high gloss and smooth surface, and it should be a really tough surface as well. And it hid those little sunken treasures under a nice little layer of epoxy, so you can peer down under the surface and see them in there. Anyway, that's the end of that construction, so thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next series of Kenjineered. Bye.